back, guys. Today we're doing something a little bit different. No suit, no wine, just some coffee, some biscuits, and we're gonna discuss about wine. Obviously, I'm giving you 100 interesting facts about wine. So let's just jump right into it. Let's see what we got. Using my computer here to read this interesting article. So fact number 1, the oldest winery that we know of is Armenian, dated to 4100 BC. The Phoenicians spread wine around the Mediterranean in the 10th century BC, introducing the drink to the ancient Greeks, who in turn inspired the Romans to become wine fanatics and grow grapes across their empire. Fun fact number 3. The Greeks and Romans took their wine seriously. They still do, dedicating gods to their favorite fermented fruit juice. Dionysus was known as the god of the grape harvest to the Greeks. People have been drinking too much wine for centuries. Everything from the Odyssey to the Bible mentions the perils of overconsumption. That's why I always say drink responsibly. Thomas Jefferson may be responsible for the California wine. After being sent to France, Jefferson bought fine cut-ins back to the United States. Interesting fact number 6. 2017 saw a drop in global wine production to a level not seen in 60 years, thanks to poor weather conditions. So 2017, not a good year for wine production. That's what mentions a good year, right? The weather conditions. We've discussed about this in previous videos. Ironically enough, most of our videos are reviewing wines vintage of 2017. So, interesting fact number 7. There are 3 major types of wine: red, white, and rosé, as you know. However, there are different, less popular varieties, including orange and even blue. So, blue wine is becoming a thing right now. I promise that you will definitely hear about it in the next 2 years. It's becoming very popular. The color of a wine is determined by the content that the grape juice has with grape skins. This also impacts the level of tannins. Interesting fact number 9. Red wine can only be made from blue or purple skinned grapes. We've said this, right? White wine can also come from these darker grapes, but only if the juice is separated from the skins. So rosé, which finds itself somewhere in between red and white, is most often crafted by allowing the juice a limited and controlled contact with grape dark skins. Interesting fact number 11. Sweet or dessert wine is made from grapes with high sugar content. In some parts of the world, this means allowing vines to contract a fungal infection called noble rot. I didn't know that. Interesting fact number 12. Fortified wines like sherry and port are made by adding extra alcohol at different stages of the production process. Go back and watch the Portuguese episode if you haven't seen it. We talk about this in detail. Interesting fact number 13. Because grapes produce sugars as they ripen, wines from warmer climates will generally contain more sugar. Interesting fact number 14. The yeast used for fermentation is called, I cannot even pronounce this, Saccharomyces cerevisiae, or brewer's yeast. Let's just call it brewer's yeast. Interesting fact number 15. Wines from Western Europe and the Middle East are known as Old World, while others are called New World, which encapsulate the Americas, Australia, Africa, and Asia. European wines often feature the location of production on their labels, while New World wines tend to provide the grape variety instead. This is a good one, keep this in mind. Remember this one. Interesting fact number 17. The terroir in France, of a wine is a combination of the environmental influences on the grapevine, including soil type and climate. Interesting fact number 18. White wines occasionally have harmless diamond-like sediment called tartrate crystals that are formed when the wine has been stored in the cold. I didn't know this. Interesting fact number 19. And you see that even though I have engaged a lot and dedicated myself in learning about wine, I'm also certified in wine. There are many things that I don't know, because as I've mentioned, this is like, it's like a whole, it's like a science, right? So it's a never-ending journey, learning journey. So interesting fact number 19. Wines don't have to be made from a single grape variety. Different juices are fermented separately and then combined in what is known as a blend. Sparkling white wine can be made anywhere, but only those grown and bottled in France's Champagne region can call themselves champagnes. Alternatives include cava, prosecco, and even sparkling Riesling. We tend to call any sparkling wine a champagne for some reason. It's wrong. Okay, so champagne is only from Champagne in France. Campania. Interesting fact number 21. Champagne bottles are made from thicker glass to resist the pressure created by carbonation. Interesting fact number 22. Champagne gets its bubbles in the bottle. Wine is still when it's bottled, but yeast and sugar are added to the mix, which create the carbon dioxide as they interact over at least 15 months. I have to do an episode about sparkling wine. There's so much to discuss about sparkling wine. Interesting fact number 23. Organic, biodynamic, and natural wines are produced by winemakers that avoid intervening in vineyard ecology. Interesting fact number 24. If you see a label marked Demeter, this means that the wine has been certified as biodynamic. Interesting fact 25. Vines are often grafted onto existing roots before being planted in order to protect them from pests. 26. vintage wine is one made only with grapes harvested in the same year. Non-vintage wines are blends of several years. Many of the largest names in Champagne produce non-vintage bottles. Also want to keep in mind, very interesting fact. Interesting fact 27, if a label says Mise en bouteille au domaine, the wine was bottled at the estate where the grapes were grown. Some argue that this preserves freshness and fruitiness. Okay. Interesting fact number 28, there are usually 12 bottles in a case of wine. Interesting fact number 29, there are 11 bottle sizes. From the biggest one being Nebuchadnezzar. I think these are names of different kings back in history, which holds the equivalent of 20 standard bottles. So Nebuchadnezzar is like a huge bottle. I think it's about 180 liters. No, that can't be right. Anyway, it's equivalent to 20 bottles. If you can afford it, because they're very expensive, it's a very nice design to have in your wine cellar. Interesting fact number 30, a magnum bottle of wine is the equivalent of 2 standard bottles, and some claim that it is the optimal size for aging thanks to the reduced space for oxygen. I completely agree. If you can purchase a magnum bottle, it's about this size, equivalent to 2 bottles, and even if it's waxed, even better if it's waxed on top, so it allows no air to insert the wine. It's perfect for aging. So if you have a specific bottle that you like, that you really enjoy, try to find it in a magnum bottle. Now let's go to grape varieties. Interesting fact number 31. There are over 1,300 varieties of grape that are used to produce wine. Okay, I know that there are over 10,000 grape varieties, but whatever. Interesting fact number 32. Grapes contain damascenon, a smell compound that contributes floral notes to many wines. 33. The majority of grapevines used for winemaking are variants of the Vitis vinifera species. 34. The most widely planted variety in the world is Cabernet Sauvignon, closely followed by Merlot, Iran. We haven't done an Iran one, it's a Spanish sherry grape, Tempranillo, and Chardonnay to follow. Interesting fact number 35. Pinot Noir, known as the classic grape of red Burgundy, it makes for wines with strong berry flavors. Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, the spicy musky Cabernet Sauvignon is responsible for some of the most famous red wines in the world, while Merlot, its neighbor in Bordeaux, is described as softer and fruitier type of wine. So interesting fact number 37. It's talking about Shiraz now, or Shiraz, famous for its rich, sometimes chocolatey flavor. Shiraz is Australia's most important wine grape. 38. A white grape grown in Germany and the French region of Alsace, Riesling, is becoming more and more popular for its ability to age and its versatility. 39. New Zealand's wine industry depends on Sauvignon Blanc, but it is also a favorable of viticulturalists, I don't know what this means, in the Loire Valley and Bordeaux. 40. According to Jancis Robinson, grown virtually everywhere wine is produced, and it's talking about Chardonnay. As a result, its flavors vary significantly from strong, chalky, minerally in Chablis to butter, caramel in warmer climates. Interesting fact number 41. Give me a moment because my mouth has dried out a little bit. So these are some interesting facts about wine. Random facts. I'm going to point out the ones to remember, the ones I find to be the most interesting ones. So interesting fact number 41. Hold on for a second, let's just pause a bit. Okay, interesting fact number 41. A 75 cl bottle contains about 6 glasses worth of wine, or 12 smaller glasses for tasting. 42. Many wines aren't vegan or vegetarian. 43. Malolactic fermentation occurs during the winemaking process, converting sharp malic acid into softer. 44. Tannins are the substance in red wine that give it a bitter, sometimes astringent feel in the mouth. So it's like drinking tea when you feel this on the cheeks. When you feel this sensation on your cheeks, it means that the red wine is very tannic. 45. Younger red wines are generally more tannic than their older counterparts. As red wines age, they also become lighter in color. 46. As a general rule, white wines should be served from 5 to 12 degrees Celsius, dependent on their characteristics, while reds should be 10 and 18 degrees. Again, 47. Experts only fill their wine glass a third of the way. This leaves plenty of room in the glass for aromas to develop. Keep this in mind. So when pouring wine, you want to fill up 1/3 of your glass. Where were we? 48. Swirling a wine glass before tasting aerates the wine and helps to release its aroma. Also to keep in mind. 49. Wine glasses are tulip-shaped, curving inwards at the top so the aromas aren't able to escape. 50. There's a widely accepted tasting process. Start by looking at the color, then smell before you taste. We do this in every video. I'm pretty sure you know about this by now. 51. Decanting red wine before serving can mimic the aging process, allowing oxygen to flow into the liquid and develop its flavor. 52. Oak imparts buttery, vanilla flavors to a wine when it is aged in barrels. 53. When chilling a wine, adding water to an ice bucket increases the surface area contact between the bottle and the cold, bringing the temperature down faster. Well, keep this in mind if you want to become a sommelier. 54. There are 4 wine elements to look for when sampling wine: acidity, sweetness, tannins, and alcohol content. 55. Moving the wine around in your mouth when tasting allows all of your taste receptors to fire. 56. Okay, 56. Matching a wine's characteristics to the dominant flavors and body of a meal can elevate wine flavors and balance its elements. 57. The majority of wine isn't made to be horizontally is best. The reason for this is to keep the cork damp, so no air can, so you don't allow any air to insert the bottle. 59. Is it 59? Yeah, 59. A wine is corked when it smells and tastes slightly moldy or like wet cardboard. This is just pure. You must be unlucky if something like this happens and it's out of your capacity. There's nothing you can do about it. You, me, anyone. Sometimes some bottles are corked. It just happens. 60. Screw caps were popularized by Australian and New Zealand winemakers. 61. Wines sealed by cork still make up the majority of bottles in the world at 64%. 62. Storing wine away from direct light and heat preserves its freshness. 63. A 75 cl bottle of wine contains the juice of 600 to 800 grapes. Keep this in mind. 64. Biodynamic winemakers are notorious for their unusual practices, which involves planning harvests around planetary movement and burying cow horns full on manure to create supercharged fertilizer. 65. The tannins in red wine are antioxidants. Keep this in mind, it's good for your health. 66. The practice of adding sugar for an alcohol boost to wines in colder region is called chaptalization. 67. Not everyone is a fan of wine. Enophobics are downright afraid of it. So there are many people who are afraid of wine. It's a phobia. 68. Romans mixed lead with their wine, using it as a sweetener. 69. White wine sales in the UK overtook red in 2016, with rosé coming in a distant third. 70. The infamous Judgment of Paris of 1976 is an event worth knowing. Californian wines beat out French bottles in a blind tasting. 71. Wine has no fat or cholesterol, a guilt-free treat. 72. It has sugar though, so be careful. 72. Most corks originate from Portugal's many cork forests, though they have dropped in popularity with the arrival of screw caps and synthetic corks. Vatican City. 73. Vatican City leads the world in wine consumption per capita. It says, if you're eating artichokes, avoid pricey wine. They can make most wines taste tiny or too sweet. So again, food pairing impacts on a big level the wine. 75. Champagne bottles contain more pressure than the tires of a car. 76. Aeration, the infusion of oxygen into a wine in order to develop any balance. It's called aeration, this process. 77. On French wine labels, the legally defined region from which the wine origins is called appellation or appellation in France. 78. The bitter, dry and character of a wine with lots of tannin is called astringent. 78. A wine made from more than one grape variety is known as a blended wine. 80. The feel of a wine in your mouth relating to weight and fullness is called the body. 81. The more aromas combined detected in each wine are called the bouquet. So this is pretty much mentioned in Dictionary of Wine words. 82. Bung hole is not what you think. The bung seals the bung hole, which is an opening in wine barrels used to add or remove wine. 83. The measurement of a grape's sugar content when harvesting is called a brix. 84. Red wines from Bordeaux are claret. 85. You'll see this on champagne bottles. It means the wine is a blend. It's the word cuvée. Cuvée. Double E. 86. A wine that has been subjected to heat damage in storage is called cooked. 87. Hold on. Okay. 87. A flavor description that refers to the effects of tannin on the palate in red wines and the lack of sweetness in whites is called a dry wine. The process of removing sediment from a wine with a fining agent is called fining. Fining agent. 89. The material used to clarify a wine. Fish bladder, egg whites, and clay are all examples of fine agents. 90. The aftertaste of a wine is called the finish. 91. Natural sediment that gathers during the fermentation process is known as lees. 92. The juice that is gathered from wine grapes is the must. 93. The smell of the wine is the nose. 94. The study of the wine is known as enology. 95. The process that occurs when wine is exposed to air is known as oxidation. 96. Bad quality wine to be avoided at all costs. Bad quality wine is known as a plunk. A plunk. A wine expert, usually with a certification, is known as sommelier. 98. The unique character of a wine's surrounding, encapsulating climate, soil, and topography is known as the terroir. 99. The species of grapevine from which wine is made is the Vitis vinifera. And 100 finally. The year a wine has picked its grapes is known as the vintage of a wine. The harvesting, okay? So there is 100 interesting facts about wine. Keep 5 or 6 in mind. I hope you gained something from this. A little bit of relaxation, a little bit of fun knowledge about wine. And I'll see you soon. This was a brief, small break from the wine episodes with the wine countries. And stay tuned. I'll see you soon.